This goes out to the Collinses from Finglas and from the Coolop ones as well, but I'm mostly talking about Sullivan John Paul and Mrs. Paddy and Mrs. John Paul. Right, you're saying that you don't want any fights now, so you're getting me to train and then you're calling off the fights. You get me to train and you're calling off the fights. You're leaving me as weeks water with all the training and calling off the fights the whole time. So John Paul or Mrs. John Paul or Sullivan John Paul, I'm going to be ready on the 8th of December for any of the 2 years. I'm going to carry on training, and I want you to carry on training because I don't want you saying that I got you off guard like you tried to do to me, Sullivan John Paul. Now John Paul, you said I'm a nobody, right? You said I'm a nobody, and I agree with you, I am a nobody. But as you says about Cows Michael, that's a big statement to make, because this nobody is going to be waiting for you on the 8th of December. And what if this nobody beats you? Then what does that make you a nobody? Right, I sparred you, Sullivan John Paul. You give all day, or you give all day. You're a good boxer, you give all day, but you can't take a punch. And when you do get a mark, you want to wrestle. What's the story, lads? Can we wrestle? We need to wrestle in the ring. What's the idea of wrestling in the ring, John Paul? It's only getting little bruises. You weren't able to take it. So I won the fight you anyway. And John Paul, at the end of the day, who did you ever fight? You fought an O'Donnell boy that was off his head in drugs and drink the night before he fought you. And everybody knows that. And when he fought you, my opinion, and a lot more than me gave their opinion as well, that boy had you bet. And at that time, John Paul, you were super fit and you were strong and you were doing the boxing, and you weren't drinking or that the night before like that boy was. And he called you out to fight. Your boy was drunk, you shouldn't have passed either, and you went out to fight and trying to make a man of yourself. And the boy nearly bet you. He nearly bet you. And that's my opinion, is that you're good for that. Because that's the only fight you ever had. You're only a talker like a good for you. Now, Mrs. Paddy, you said you're not a rat, right? I remember being at a court, looking at my cousin going to jail for 6 years, and you were standing beside a guard by the name of Johnny Walsh, and you were licking the guard, pardon me language, arse, and yeah, you're licking the guard's arse all that day, and you gave statements against me because I'm likely to put him in jail for 6 years. You put me mate Japs Paul to jail for 4.5 years, and you put me mate, my brother-in-law David, to jail for 4 years. You did put everyone into jail, Paddy, so how are you saying you're not a rat? Now, I was also talking to a fella in jail before, Paddy, that you set up in a car park with a load of weed. You set up, you had it in the boot of your car, and you got the guards on the man when he parked in to buy the weed off you. You got the guards onto him, and the boy was surrounded with guards and you got in jail. So therefore, don't ever say you're not a rat, Paddy, because I keep talking. I know a lot more. I know a lot about you, and anything you reply back, Paddy, I'll reply something back again. And the same for you, Sullivan John Paul, that snorted coke with me, that's meant to never touch a drug in your life, that snorted coke with me in old Mingo's house a few years back. Now, and you're never meant to touch a drug in your life. Along with that, do you remember Buzz Davies Stevens' trailer getting burnt? Well, do you know how that trailer was known to be at the back of that wall that time? It was at the back of the site, so how was anyone meant to know that that trailer was in the back of the site? You had your little we had our little informers from your site that time. And our informers, I'm going to let out now, because our informers is after getting involved for you the other day, and they thought this wouldn't be told back about them. our informers is Horses Anthony and Horsetown Paddy. That's who our informers was that told us where that trailer was. And that's why your trailer got burned, Stephen. And Stephen, you put Richie McCann to jail for 4 years for threats to kill. So therefore, you're a rat too. So don't ever say you're not a rat as well. Kieran Collins, you had me locked up before for assaulting you in your house and that as well. So don't say you're not a rat. Mrs. Paddy, you got me arrested for pipe bombing your houses, for shooting and burning, firing petrol bombs in the top of your houses and burning your house while your woman and child was meant to be in it, which I reckon is lies. That was only a thing that she says. But you said that anyway. You said that's what I tried to do. But do you remember trying to burn my kids in my house? My little 3 children inside it? Well, I tell you the truth, lads. I wish I was there the time your house was burned, Paddy. I wish I was there. But you got me arrested for it anyway. You blame me. But I'm not very bothered about it. I'm still here. I'm not being arrested. I'm not being caught for anything. Not saying I've done anything, but I haven't been caught anyway, even if I did do something. But anyway, I want to fight Sullivan's John Paul back again to the fights again. I want to fight Sullivan's John Paul on the 8th of December, the date that was already picked. No day before, no day after. Don't start making excuses, John Paul. I want you to keep training and keep training till that fight. And Paddy, if you want to take any other place, because me and you fought before, we fought for, it doesn't matter how long we fought for. But I got the upper hand, and if you have anything to prove it against me. And your brother John Paul, if you think he's a better chance than you, send him out. But I want to fight Sullivan's John Paul, Mrs. John Paul, or Mrs. Paddy, any of the 3 years on the day of the fight's already. You can get as much peace as you want, lads. I'm happy with peace as well. To tell you the truth, I'd be happy with peace as well. But I can sleep right in my house now, lads. You're talking about running me out. It was guards put me going. But you have a shop built in your side that you can't deal with. After starting a big argument, you started a big argument, biting off an old young fella's ear, right? You have a shop built in your side. You go to the doors to collect your dole in the post office. Every one of you. You can't go anywhere without each other. That's a bad way to live, lads. That's a ridiculous way to live. So, like, if I go to the shop, I have to ring up another fella, "Are you coming to the shop with me?" That's a bad way to live. I swear to God, it is. I'd rather the way I'm living now than the way you're living. So you actually, by us arguing, you made me a happier man. I swear to God you did. Apart from my children, I'd like to go over and see my children, but there's no point me going over there because I am going to end up getting killed. I will end up getting killed because there's too many in it for me. But we'll see what happens down the line anyway, lads, because I will have to go and see my kids anyway. I will see what happens down the line after that, and then if there's a retaliation, it'll be a retaliation. But and the main topic is Sullivan's John Paul. You're a waster. You says I'm a nobody. I'm calling you a waster. I'm saying you can't take a punch. I want you to fight me in that day. Mrs. John Paul, I want you to fight me that day. Mrs. Paddy, I want you to fight me that day. And another thing, one last thing I have to say as well. You're writing underneath the videos of my YouTube video, my last YouTube video up, that I hid a weapon and I wiped blood off a person in an incident. Now, I didn't do that, and everybody knows I did not do that, because I wouldn't do that for nobody, right? I wouldn't do that for nobody that's that done that sort of crime. Let them be my best mates, or let them be my brother. I would not do that. But he says it about me anyway. Now, Paddy, remember I put up a picture because you were calling me sister names all over the Facebooks and the YouTubes, the unlucky Facebooks and the YouTubes. But you're calling me sister names and you're calling everyone belonging to me names. So I put a picture up of me and your wife together. And do you remember what you done, Paddy? You put a sword down through your woman's head and you opened your woman's head up, Paddy. That she had to be rushed to hospital, and then from the hospital, when she left the hospital, she had to go into a woman's refuge over you for weeks, hiding from you. Well, Paddy, don't talk about any man you, because you're a sick boy. You do that to your wife, and if you looked that picture right, you would have known that that was a fake. You didn't look at it right. I only done that to torment you and provoke you. And I will tell you the truth, over what you did to your woman's head, I'm sorry for putting that picture up. But are you sorry for doing that to your woman? So you're apologising every day now. But, and one last thing. Quinns is meant to be your boss. Quinns be the jumping Jesus. Quinns be your boss, lads. Well, if Quinns was my boss, I'd hang myself, because Quinns how is he a boss of anybody? He's a show. He's, lads, Quinns seriously. Good luck to you, lads. Let's just go.